Social media and the internet as a whole like completely glamorizes being a landlord or having beach houses, thinking that we're all like rolling in the dough and this is just such an easy game to get into, and it is not. It is hard. It is a lot of pressure. It is a lot of financial responsibility, and you don't really make out with anything in the end. It's a gamble every single day. Welcome to the Fitze Is Right, where I tell you real stories about real estate deals and all the things buyers, sellers, and even agents should know about before it's too late. So today I'm not talking about client or stories from past clients. I'm going to talk about myself and my life as a landlord. So I'm going to give you the reality of being a landlord, Airbnb, verboing, rental properties, and the positives of what can happen and how you can make money, but then also the drawbacks. So this is going to be a very honest, upfront, and blunt conversation about being a landlord and how to get into it, if that's something you want to do.
So take us back to when you even just started thinking about even buying these condos. What is the story there?
So my husband and I love the beach. We absolutely love going to Ocean City. And I know everybody thinks it's like, trashy down there, and it can be. But I love Ocean City. I've always loved Ocean City. When we were young and broke and poor as crap when we were children, we had 1 week at the beach, and I looked forward to it all year long. This 1 year, and my husband was the same way, like 1 year at the beach. So then when we got married and we got together and we were like, let's go to the beach. Well, so we started spending like 2 weeks at a time in Ocean City. So we would rent the same condo for 2 weeks, and it was costing us like all this money every year to rent these crappy condos, but we loved it. We didn't care. We loved it. We loved being there. So then I'm like, what happens if we just go and like buy? Like, how does that even go? Like, how does it even work? Like, how would you even go about, like, way could we even afford it? Because, we're young at the time, and how much are condos? And then, like, could we even rent them out? Like, what could we rent them out, when we weren't down there, and make money to cover all the expenses? So there was so many questions. We had no idea what we were doing. Even me as a realtor, like, I knew some things, but I didn't know like the whole part of like investing and becoming a landlord. And especially when it's in a second home community, it's not like I'm buying a place that to rent year long or having long-term tenants in. Like that's to me is kind of like a cakewalk compared to figuring out what you'd actually have to make renting weekly to cover all the bills. Mm-hmm. So we decided to start just kind of like calling the lenders, figuring out like, hey, can we even do this? Because we probably did it for like 4 or 5 years in a row. We're spending over $3,000 just for the condo.
What do you mean?
To rent it for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, but before you decided to buy. So it's like
before we decided to buy. So we're spending all this money all the time. And then we would also be going down Memorial Weekend and Labor Day weekend. And so we were constantly down there. So we got approved. I don't even know how that happened.
So wait, why did you not want to just buy a house for you to live in down there? Like, what was the difference between that and buying like a rental type of thing to rent out?
Because we're not down there. So I didn't want to have all that maintenance to worry about, like, especially when the hurricanes come and like having to board everything up. I didn't want to have to be concerned about that. I wanted, to be like in a building where nothing was going to happen, and I didn't have to worry about, especially with the house, was like mowing the lawn or, like just people like walking by and stealing stuff. And my friend actually had a house at the time on Coastal Highway, and there was so much crime right at her house. And she was on 110th Street. She was literally like right there, and just cops running by there all the time, and people throwing trash and stuff in her yard. And I didn't want to deal with any of that because I saw what she would deal with. Yeah. And So condo is what it was. We weren't there. Utility bills were low.
But this was just for you guys to live in?
No, we were going to rent it out. Like, we couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford the condo without renting it out.
But when you wanted to go down, you would have it?
Correct. So like we had to, we started looking, and just kind of getting ideas of places. I knew that we wanted to be up like North Ocean City. I didn't want to be down on the boardwalk end. I wanted to be at least like, 80th Street and up, and I wanted to be on the beach. Like that was my thing. And I actually put a post out on social media, and I was like, because a couple of the units didn't have washer and dryer. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like, to me, that's important. I don't ever do laundry on vacation. I will literally take it all home in a trash bag. But the other people might, especially if they have little kids. They might. So I was like, is this important? So it's like, then we could, and then if you were staying on the beach side versus the bay side, would you rather rent a place that has a pool or doesn't have a pool? Like if you're on the beach, do you need to have a pool?
You're doing like a survey to see what you needed to have at yours.
Right. So if you buy on the bay side, do you have to have a pool because you don't really have easy access to the beach? So it was all these different things that we were thinking about, trying to determine like what places to even look at, what buildings to even look at. I was friends with a realtor down there. He knew all of the different like the buildings and the HOAs and the assessments and all the ins and outs of all the buildings down there. Like I didn't know all of that at the time. So it was good to have somebody that lived down there that knew all the details of all these buildings, because some buildings had these huge like 30 grand assessments, and some buildings were just like falling apart. Like if there was like a little match, it was just going to go shoo.
Yeah.
So it was good to have somebody with that knowledge down there. So we looked, and first day we got down there on our 2-week stint, we looked at like 5 or 6 or something, and some of them were just complete crap, like the buildings falling apart, or I'm like, oh, this is like senior week community, like we are not going to be staying here, just trash. Like, and everybody has this freaking hodgepodge of furniture. It's like, oh, nothing matches, nothing looks good. It's like, oh, grandma died, take her chair. It's like,
wait, but like when you're buying it with the furniture in it?
Furnished.
Why?
Everything is fully furnished.
Because it's a condo.
All the condos are sold. They're full. I mean, every single utensil,
but you can change it.
Yeah, you can go in there and buy new or whatever. But when you're spending this much money on a condo, you're kind of broke. Yeah. So it's good to have furniture in there. That way you can quickly rent it. And it's also, when you're looking at places, you want to get the past rental history too, because you need to know whether this unit is producing or not. Because if they can't get anybody to rent it, then that's not something that you want to invest in.
Yeah.
So, and people also question, like, they don't want a building with assessments. I think that it's a good thing when there's an assessment, because that means that the condo association is taking care of the building. So they're doing things to maintain it, putting on a new roof, redoing the elevators. Everything costs a lot of money to maintain down there because of the salt air, and everything has to be replaced as like half a shelf life than it would like up here in Bel Air. So when they're assessing you this extra money to make these repairs, I think it's a good thing. But it sucks that you have to pay it, but they're also maintaining the building, and therefore maintaining the value of your unit.
Yeah, that's smart.
But, we went and looked at a bunch, and then he took us to see one that was like 10,000 over our price. And of course, that's the one that we loved. Why wouldn't it be? But it had this most beautiful view. You could see all the way down Coastal Highway South. You could see all north. You were right on the beach. Like, it was just fantastic. We just stood out there and we're like,
yeah, this is it.
Shit. Like this. So then we waited for like 2 weeks, like the whole 2-week stint. We sat there and like pondered, and should we do it? Should we not do it? So we finally did it.
So you had one condo in Ocean City.
That was one condo.
So
that was at the Capri.
So you said at this point that you only could afford it if people were renting it out, but you guys also went down often. So what did that lifestyle look like for you?
So we would go down. So it wouldn't really rent in from November to April-ish. As much as we tried to get it rented in the December for Winterfest and stuff, it just wouldn't.
And where'd you put it to rent? Was a website?
We got a property manager.
Okay.
A friend of ours lives down there. Him and his wife, they're our property manager. They took care of everything.
That's nice.
Booking all the rentals and getting all the funds and paying us and doing the repairs and doing it.
Very nice.
It was the best.
You recommend that?
You can't. Yeah, you definitely have to have somebody down there that can be there in a jiffy. God, how old am I? That can be there quickly to handle issues.
In a jiffy.
In a jiffy. Jiffy pop. So yeah, we bought a condo.
And on the busy season, when would you go down and when would you rent it out? And
we would go down Memorial Weekend, and we would go down for a week in the summer, and then we would go down Labor Day weekend.
And then just try to rent it out.
And then everything else was rented.
And did you make way more than your mortgage? Like, what was the success of this?
Like the first year, like our bills totaled the first year, couple years was like 28,000 for the mortgage, the condo fees, the utilities, all that. And so if our bills were like 27, we made 30.
So it wasn't like money, but
yeah, no, because then we had to put that back in there to like, you know, paint or replace the air conditioning unit.
Yeah, but you were going down for free.
Somebody broke. But the bonus is you have a beach house.
Yeah.
Right? So like that's kind of the goal. Like you're not making bank like you would if you had a long-term renter in there.
Yeah. But you go down and get to stay for free.
Yeah, exactly. So like when they have a convention down there every year, I can go down there and stay, or you know, it was just much more convenient.
So what happened from this? Did you rent out more condos, or were you stuck with one?
So the plan was to buy a new condo every 2 years because we needed 2 years of rental to show we had 2 years consistent rentals and how much we were making in those rentals to cover a new mortgage. Okay. Because we obviously couldn't keep affording all these mortgages.
Yeah.
So every 2 years we bought another unit. So by the end we had 4.
Is that something you put on yourself, or is that like from a lender? They're like, this is what we need to see to allow you to buy.
That's from the lender in the beginning. Yeah, we need to see
that you're getting
that
rentals.
You can get it.
Yeah.
And of course, COVID hit, and they weren't allowing rentals, and we still had to pay we then had to pay all the mortgages without any rentals, and that was a big cluster. Like that was like
you're like, let me get rid of these.
That was bad. But then we kept them all. We had to recoup. Like we had like really like we went broke a little, not broke, but it was just it was hard.
Stressful, yeah. Which that type of stuff can happen, right? So it's like when you're doing in this business, you have to kind of prepare for that, right?
You do. I just didn't feel like we would have to pay all 4 at once.
Yeah.
Plus our house here.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we absolutely loved it because like sometimes like we'd have to go down there and we're like, okay, which unit's open? Like which one can we go and pop into for the weekend, or which one, you know? And we had a 1-bedroom and we had 2 bedrooms on the ocean front, and then we had a Bayside unit, which was right in Northside Park, which was my absolute favorite condo of all of them because we could see the fireworks from our balcony. Like we did, like I would run there like every day. I just loved being there. I would probably buy another condo there in a heartbeat.
So what were the downsides? Like what were the upsides and downsides of this? So upside, obviously you can go anytime you want. What did it end up being profitable when you had 4 units going, or was it still kind of?
It was, but it wasn't like by the end, the very first condo where initially we were making like 30 a year, we were getting in 30 a year. By the end we were getting in 50 a year, or 55 a year. So that turned out really well.
And
the one on the Bayside was really just kind of like a break even. We were there all the time, so we didn't rent it out as much, but it did rent, but it was really just a break even point. And then we had 2 others that were in the same building, and they rented, but it wasn't like, nothing was ever like the Capri, like the original one.
Yeah.
That had an indoor pool. So if you're ever looking for a place, recommend get a place with an indoor pool because people will rent it all year long.
So when people get into like Airbnb businesses or vacation rental businesses and they make it their whole job, like what are they doing to make it so profitable? Or is it just that they have so many?
I don't think that it is profitable.
Yeah.
Like when my friend got into it, like they lived up here and he worked for Wells Fargo and she has a full-time job, and he was like, oh, let me just start. Like we were his first clients. And so now he has like over 100, but he wants to keep it small and tight. He doesn't want to be like Coldwell Banker, Vacasa, whatever, because he likes to have that like hands-on approach with everything. So
he's making profit, I guess, right? But it's
not. No, I mean, it's like when we started, we were paying him 11%, like a month based on what was rented, and now I think he's at like 16%. But I mean, if they're not rented, he's not making anything, and he's constantly up and down Coastal Highway. Like his wife's here, he's there, like checking all these issues. He's had to go out in the middle of the night and deal with, like the H2O weekends and people or senior weekers. He has to go and like do spot checks, and it's not an easy job. No. It's like he's constantly on call. He can never like go out and have a drink because he might get a call and be like, oh, the dishwasher's leaking everywhere. I need you to come over here now. And he can't go there obviously with like liquor on his breath, that kind of stuff, So it's like he never has any downtime.
It's a hard business.
It's a very hard business. It's not a rewarding.
So would you recommend people to try to like buy a rental property and do what you did? Or do you think it's situational? Or like, what were the downsides of this?
The downsides were people don't take care of your place the way that you would take care of it. A, people are not clean like they should be. People will ruin your stuff. People will get there on a Friday and open the sliders and then turn the air conditioning down to 58 and let it run all weekend long. And then
they don't care.
And Sunday morning, leave and close the sliders and turn it up to 80 and leave, and then freeze your unit out, and then we have to buy a new unit.
Nice.
Yeah. So they just don't care.
And that's what you get when you're doing vacation rentals.
Yep. I had a curling iron burn marks on my white dresser, and people just throwing like all the bottle caps and stuff down our kitchen sink into the garbage disposals all. They don't care.
So if someone does want to get into this, and it doesn't have to be Ocean City, but like, what can they do to make this profitable for them? Like it's not like you who wants to go stay there. They're like, I want to buy properties and rent this out. What should they be doing?
Well, if you want to be profitable, I would do more of like the yearly, like the long-term renters, because that's where your profit's going to be. Seasonal rentals, if you break even, it's a good year.
Yeah.
And because the perk is somebody's paying your mortgage because you're not paying it, and you have a place at the beach or wherever it is that you're renting it.
Yeah.
So that's the pro. But if you want to do more long-term rentals, like
you can make money.
Your mortgage could be $1,500 a month, and you'd be renting it for $2,500 a month, and so you're making $12,000 a year.
Yeah.
As long as these people don't destroy your place.
Yeah. Which they probably won't as much because they care a little more because they're living there. You would think.
You would think,
but no.
But not all the time, no. And that's why, and then like when we were renting it, we would raise the rent a little bit more, like higher than what the others, because we wanted to kind of get the higher quality people.
Yeah.
Not just those that are,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you had these units, you were making a little bit of money, and let's say every year, and you said you enjoyed it, but there were these downsides. So what was, so 2020 happens.
2020 happens, and we make it through, and
so you're just paying for all of it yourself throughout.
We're paying all of it ourselves because the pools weren't open, like nothing, nobody was coming down. We get it. I feel like it was 2022 or I think it was 2022. We resold the first one.
How did you come to that decision?
It needed a new kitchen. It needed a new kitchen, and it needed 2 new bathrooms, and like the kitchen, the drawer, this was the first unit we bought. The drawer, like the cabinets were painted, and the drawer with the utensils was like crooked, and it wasn't on the track anymore, and it's like, don't touch it, kind of thing. And so it's like, do we want to put like all this money in to fix the kitchen and do the bathrooms, or do we just sell it? Because at that point, the equity like skyrocketed. Like it was worth double than what we had paid for it.
So you would make more money selling it than getting these renters.
Right. So it's like, do we want to put like $50,000 in and fix it and keep renting it? Or do we want to take advantage of the equity?
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We sold that one.
And it sold for how much more than you bought it?
We paid $270 for it, and we sold it for $470, $475.
So you made out. That. And then how many years was that? 6?
We bought it in 2016, and we sold it in 2022.
That's pretty good.
6 years.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, and then the second one on the Bayside, we decided to sell that one. That was a 3rd floor walk up. So it was really hard to sell that one. Yeah. Because nobody wants to do those.
You said you loved that one though, right?
That was our favorite.
Yeah.
like we hated taking all the luggage up and down, and like we would just like throw shit off the balcony to like get it down to like towards cars, but like lugging all that stuff up and down. And people that are older, like they're buying places, they're not going to do all that.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to get that one sold. It took a good 6 months to get that one at least sold.
Did you make money there?
We did.
How much?
We did. We bought that one for $260 something, and I feel like we sold it for $4 something.
So, I mean,
yeah.
It was like a successful endeavor, I feel like.
And then the other ones we literally bought and sold within a year. So, and we sold both of them for more than what we paid for it the year before. So that was good. So we did it was a 1031 exchange.
So this is something that helps you what?
It helps us defer the taxes. So when you sell the property and you have all that income or all that profit, it counts as income. So then you have to pay taxes on it. So this would defer the tax payment. So we take all that money, we give it to an intermediary, very nice guy. I forget what his name is, but he was nice. And he just holds the money. And then when we go to buy a new place that we weren't going to rent, he gave us that money, and they put that right on the new place.
So you never had to pay taxes on it?
Not yet. So when we sell the new place, if we don't buy another second home, we will then have to pay the taxes on it.
So that's something anyone could do with any of their houses, technically, right?
Yeah, it has to be the same property. Like if you have a second home, it has to be a second home. Investment property has to be investment property. It's not for primary residence.
Primary residents get an investment property or something, like you can't do that.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
So you guys now so you use that to buy just like a home for you guys to live in.
So we took all the proceeds and just bought a home for us. In the end, when we realized that we had so much equity in all the properties, instead of putting money into fix them up, we decided to pull it all out because we didn't know what the market was going to do after the whole COVID pandemic. I mean, prices had really increased like big time. So we kind of wanted to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
If we didn't know whether they were going to go back down or continue going up. So I'm not a real high risk taker when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we pulled it all out and just like, let's just buy the house now then. And then we put all that money towards this house, and we have a very small mortgage.
So now, so it got you where you wanted to
get. That's where we wanted to be. It was a little bit earlier than what we were thinking.
But it worked out.
But it worked out in the end.
And you're still gaining equity on that so that you can sell it one day.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because I ever paid for it.
Yeah.
Don't tell my husband.
But
anyway. I know he's going to watch this.
So now you just go there freely and happily and live with it.
Chris just left. He just went.
So I feel like anytime someone wants to get into the business like this, I feel like it's like, have your strategy. Because if you don't, I feel like you could get lost in it. Like you knew what you were trying to do.
You have to have a strategy. You have to have, a financial planner. You have to have, an accountant. You have to have your lender. You have to have like property manager. Like you have to have all of this like set up, like all your ducks in a row before you even like decide, yes, this is what we're going to do. Because if you just go in there all willy-nilly, you're going to fail. You're going to lose money. Like you've got to be smart about it. And it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. And you don't want to
leave it up to chance.
You don't.
The real cost of being a landlord that nobody talks about, like maintenance, when it's vacant, certain parts of the season, et cetera, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, like we had to go down once a month.
Yeah.
Make sure it was clean, make sure it was okay, make sure that, everything was working and functioning. And again, you have to pay for people when they screw your stuff up or break your things.
Yep.
And after a while, it tends to be a lot. You have to go in constantly repainting or replacing flooring or replacing furniture. And it just gets to be taxing after a while.
Yeah.
Because you go in and you fully love it. And it's like, this is our place. And you hope that people love it like you do, but they don't. They spill margaritas all over your white pillows.
Yeah, nice.
And then they flip it over because they think that you're not going to know.
Yeah.
So
you're not going to flip the pillow.
I'm not going to flip it over and see it. So it gets to be, it's very disheartening sometimes. So
although social media sometimes can make it seem like this is just passive income. Mm-hmm. Like it really is a second job almost. Or
it is a second job almost. Like you're constantly on it. Like you're constantly in touch with the property manager. You're constantly figuring out like what needs to be done to what unit. like when it's rented and when it's not, and when we can get in there, and like if it needs to be painted or if something needs to be fixed, or you're constantly coordinating different things. It's not like you can just go down there and veg. And even when we went down there for weeks on a time, my husband was literally working on the units the entire time. Like there was no relaxation for him.
Yeah.
He was constantly doing things, which it's not fun. It's not the goal. Social media and like the internet as a whole, like completely glamorizes being a landlord or having beach houses, and makes, thinking that we're all like rolling in the dough, and that this is just such a like an easy game to get into, and it is not. It is hard. It is a lot of pressure. It is a lot of financial responsibility, and you don't really make out with anything in the end. Yeah. It's just, it's a gamble every single day, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And a pandemic could hit, and then you're really screwed. So just be prepared.
And that's what your agent won't tell you.
Yes.
All right, we have 4 rapid fire comments that people left. As everyone knows,
right,
they can DM or comment, and we will read it in here.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, the first one says, what's the most damage a tenant has ever done to one of your properties?
That was the air conditioning unit, where they opened the sliders on Friday and left them open all weekend, and turned the air down to 58. Yeah. Program your Nest thermostat so they can't change it more than 4 degrees.
What did it do to the condo?
There was a big, huge ice ball in the thing, and we had to get a whole new unit.
Nice.
And we didn't know for like almost a week, because the tenants after that reported that it wasn't really cooling, and we'd already given their security deposit back. So we were totally screwed.
Yep. Nice. Next one, true or false, rental property is passive income?
True. Depends. I mean, it depends what kind of rental property it is.
Yeah.
Long-term rental, short-term rental, seasonal. So, yeah.
Strategy. Mm-hmm. Third one, what's the one thing every landlord should put in their lease that most people don't? Or rental agreement if it's short-term?
That you need to rent to people 25 and older. And
dang, I'm out.
If the rule is, if the parents like sign the rental agreement and then like drive the children down there and check in with them and then roll out, if we find out that there are kids in there, you lose your entire week of rental money. You don't get any of it back. So
nice. Did you implement that?
Huh?
Did you end up implementing that?
At our units, no. Well, it was implemented at all of his units, all my property managers' units. But did he ever kick anybody out of ours? No, but other people's, yes.
Nice. And last one, would you ever be a landlord again?
Probably.
Could happen.
It could happen. It could happen. I mean, I would love to buy over on the bay again, buy Northside Park.
Yeah.
That was like my absolute favorite.
Yeah. We could vlog that whole process.
I would probably rent to people that I know versus strangers.
Yeah. So stay tuned, because we could record your process in the future of one day, maybe.
Who knows? When I live down there full time, I have all sorts of places. So stay tuned for the next episode. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of a short sale and how they are not so short, and what disasters can happen after waiting almost a year to find out if you get into a property or not.